I'm joined by Police Chief David Smith, Commissioner of the Department of Recreation and Human Services Shirley Green, and the best dressed corporation counsel in all of Monroe County, Patrick Beath. I don't like you trying to upstage me, Patrick. What's going on with that? But he's looking good. Just let me say, first off, this is our quarterly public safety briefing. As you know, we did one in January, and it's April now, so we're March ended, so we're going to give an update on that. But before we get started with that, just let me, again, put out word to the community, and I know that we will have more to say about this soon, is if anybody saw the young 12-year-old that was hit on Avenue D in Bauman Street by someone that hit this kid when he was riding one of the VO scooters that we have with his family members on his street, in his neighborhood. I'm sure some of you saw that horrific video. That young kid was hit, and this guy had the audacity to get out of the car, look at him, say something, and then just drive off. This is a major challenge in our community, these hit and runs, pedestrian safety, vehicle safety. This is what we'll be talking about a lot today. First off, I want to say to that individual, turn yourself in. You're on video. Most likely we know who you are. You basically just injured a kid that has life-altering injuries. Turn yourself in. And if you know where this individual is, because they know, you have to know who he is, call 911 or the mayor's office. We've been getting a lot of great tips this week. Call us. What happened there is just extremely horrific. A kid having fun, riding the scooters, which we encourage people to do, legal scooters, and someone decides to hit him and not stop. Well, actually stop, get out, look at the kid, see that he's down, and then just drive off. That's not the city we want to be, and I hope that people will turn him in. And maybe he was afraid, maybe he wasn't, but I don't think that was the case because he saw what he did, he knew what he did, and he decided to leave. But today we're here to talk about ATVs and dirt bikes. As you know, I've been holding these since 2022, but before I get to the ATV and dirt bike conversation, I just want to give the high-level numbers, and the chief may also have some comments on this. From 2021 into the end of 2024, all of our gun violence metrics continue to fall. They fell by 50%, and so far this year, that trend is continuing. We're just ended the first quarter. Shooting incidences are down by 32%. Shooting victims are down by 43% from where they were. That's just last year. And total homicides are down 36% from where they were at this time last year. So our numbers continue to show, we continue to show great progress. 10-year, because some people like to hate. So let's look at the 10-year rate. Because you're looking over, so 10-year rate for those that want us to go back even further. The 10-year rate, we're now below the 10-year average. Am I right?
Yes.
We're now below the 10-year average. So to the haters, we're now below the 10-year average as it relates to shootings. Is it good enough? No. Are we jumping up and down and dancing? No. But we're below the 10-year average as it relates to shootings. We want to continue in that progress. I want to say that part of that is a couple of things. Number one, I can tell you that our clearance rate is the highest it's been in years. And number two, our non-fatal shooting team. You saw evidence of that this morning when you got a press release about a young person that decided to go shoot at kids that were playing on the basketball court. We were able to identify him extremely quickly. Police response times are up, and closure rates are up, both for non-fatal shootings as well as homicides. We are double the national average in non-fatal shootings, and our clearance rate is now one of the best in the country, and we want it to continue that way. And you will see during my budget and State of the City, we will continue to chart a path so we can make sure that continues to happen. So we are not satisfied, obviously. We want zero homicide. So if your question is, well, are you going to continue the gun state of emergency even though you've seen such a precipitous drop in the level of crime that's happened? Yes, we are going to continue it because I still need to let people know that one shooting is way too many. So we're going to continue to have our gun violence state of emergency because it's working and it's bearing fruit. And the numbers bear that out. Okay? So I wanted to add that on there. But I asked you to join me here at the Auto Impound Lot because I wanted to send a very loud and clear message. And I'm doing this for, and I'm going to send the clips of this to a couple of seniors that have called the mayor's office. People are sick and tired of illegal ATVs that are proliferating our city. I'm not talking about motorcycles, because if you get a motorcycle, guess what? You have to go get a course, and they're registered. I'm not talking about if you have a cool-looking off-the-road vehicle that is licensed and allowed to be driven in the city. That's fine. You can do that. What I'm talking about are illegal activities, though not specifically violent, but they negatively impact our residents and businesses and fuel disdain for law and disorder. Now, last summer, we cracked down, and we made great progress. But we're starting early this year, because I want to send a message to my senior friends, who I won't name, that we're not going to tolerate this law and disorder. Where this really crystallized and hit me is when I was in the car, and I witnessed individuals. They couldn't just drive their ATVs and break the law quietly. They had to yell at an old lady that was standing at the bus stop and almost hit her. We've had kids that have fallen off ATVs and died. If you remember, you can check stories from that happen. We had a homicide as a result of an ATV, because someone was upset that their kid almost got hit, so he shot the guy that was riding the ATV. And then I don't need to remind you of 2 injured police officers that I had who had to go to a business that was having an ATV gathering. And those 2 officers were out of work. So this summer, but now this spring, we are going to have a renewed focus on ATVs. And we're talking specifically about the use of illegal dirt bikes and ATVs. And I'm well aware of the aggregation these bikes are causing for our residents. I witnessed on East Avenue, and most recently on Lau Avenue, when I was at our soccer stadium, them blocking traffic, disrupting the peace and quiet of our parks, and even driving on sidewalks and playgrounds. During a baseball game last year, we had a guy that interrupted the baseball game because he decided to drive the ATV up where the kids were playing baseball, and then got upset with the coaches when they told him to move. Totally ridiculous. So our community has had it with these illegal vehicles. If anybody has not had it with the illegal vehicles, call the mayor's office and let me know. I would love to gauge the people that are okay with this. And I can tell you they are severely outnumbered. These illegal use of vehicles is more than annoyance. It's downright dangerous for the reasons that I just mentioned. And for the riders and other motorists and pedestrians and even children in our parks and playgrounds, they are dangerous. They're supposed to be used for off-road use. So if you're going to do them, use them for off-road use. They're not street legal. If you have a street legal vehicle, we're fine, we're good. And if it's registered and they're street legal, I have no problem with that. That's your business. But if they're not street legal, they don't belong on city streets, parking lots, or parks. And as you can see, I gave the chief a directive that for every time we get up to 50 ATVs that we capture, we're crushing them. Period. When we get to 50, we crush them. And that's what we're going to do in a minute. The Rochester Police Department is running details with our partners, and we are working to confiscate them. We are not going to chase you. We're not going to do that. We're using our brains and intelligence. And if any of you know people that have illegal ATVs, call us. You can do it through the reported app. You can call the chief's office. You can call the mayor's office, and we will follow up in due course. Our law department is also getting in on the action, as our corporation counsel will share in a few minutes. And I won't steal his thunder, but I will say, if you're selling illegal bikes, you might want to do it in another county. But you're not doing it in Rochester. I'm just telling you. Don't do it here. So if you choose to ride an illegal off-road vehicle on city streets, I'm just going to warn you, we will take them and we're going to confiscate them. Because I'll use the name Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith has had enough. I have tracked the complaints that I have gotten on ATVs, and it's like not even close with a lot of the other complaints I get. In and around Parcel 5. You pick a street. You can pick any street in the neighborhood. Lyle Avenue, East Avenue, Mount Hope. You can pick anywhere across the city. People have had enough. And they yell at me. They expect me to do something about it. So those of you that are the folks that are riding the bikes, they can say, oh, easy, not my problem. But trust me, I get the calls. So I want to have Chief Smith come and talk about some of the top line public safety numbers, but today we really want to focus on the ATVs, and you'll notice that all of our public safety briefings going forward will be zeroed in on a particular topic. But today, because it's a nice day, it's a warm day, and we have these people riding these annoying machines, I want to have the chief focus in on that, and then the law department. And then I'll have Dr. Green talk a little bit about some of our youth activities and things that we're doing to keep people occupied and busy and out of trouble. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously, we're here at the Auto Pound because the RPD and its partners are off to a terrific start addressing the issue of illegal ATVs and dirt bikes on our streets. But here are some of the other things the hardworking men and women of the RPD have accomplished to date. So far in the first quarter, 174 guns have been confiscated off the streets of Rochester, 145 of which were crime guns. As the mayor said, we've had 7 homicides to date. We have made arrests in 4 of those cases. The Violence Prevention Section, which we formed when we reorganized, non-fatal shooting unit, currently has a 36% clearance rate. The national average is 22%. The Violence Prevention Section uniform resources have, during this give grant cycle, made 52 custom notifications, 125 arrests, 31 of which were firearms related, and recovered 26 firearms. The tactical unit, which is another uniformed unit, has made 4 homicide arrests, 8 violent felony arrests other than homicides, 4 criminal possession of a weapon arrest, recovered 4 handguns, recovered 22 stolen vehicles, and made 38 warrant arrests. The Special Operations Team, which was formed when we reorganized, has made 8 warrant arrests, 3 apprehensions, and dealt with 2 barricaded subjects. SOT, the Special Operations Team in conjunction with SWAT, has conducted 30 high-risk search warrants in the first quarter, that's 30, and 5 barricaded armed subjects in the first quarter. In patrol, our patrol officers have increased their foot patrol time, while our response times have remained consistent. We consistently answered upward of 250 911 calls per shift. I can tell you the past couple days, the 3 to 11 shift, 3rd platoon, has hit over 350 911 calls for each of those 8-hour shifts. The East End Entertainment District has not had a gunfire incident since September. Attendance at the venues continues to rise, with 1 new bar opening and 2 others preparing to open in the district. We continue to run stolen auto details with our partner agencies. To date, we have recovered 19 stolen vehicles, made 8 arrests, and written 4 traffic citations. That's just on the stolen vehicle details. These are addition to coordinated details just run with my internal units. We've done 2 pedestrian safety grant details, 3, 2 were on Lyle Avenue. During those details, we towed 13 vehicles and issued 101 citations. We did 1 detail in the 2600 block of Lake Avenue. During that detail, we issued 34 citations. I will note that although there's a 35-mile-an-hour speed zone, the target cutoff was 55 miles an hour and above. So in 4 hours, we had 34 vehicles in excess of 55 miles an hour on Lake Avenue that were cited. And then, of course, the ATV details. To date this quarter, we've recovered 35 ATV dirt bikes, written 90 citations, 10 municipal code tickets, and made 2 arrests. Moving forward, we're resuming bike patrols for the first time since 2019, which will focus on quality of life issues in our neighborhoods. And we are also busy planning the many upcoming events and festivals this spring and summer in the city of Rochester. And I will hand it back to the mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Thank the team. Thanks the team for their work. This is a team effort, and we can't do this alone. And I want to thank the hard men and women in your department, police department, for their work and what they have been doing. So thank you, Chief, for that. And as I said earlier, Corporation Council has had the law department working in concert with RPD on illegal off-road vehicles and other efforts. So I'd like Patrick to come and give a brief update on the off-road vehicles, and then we will close with Dr. Green, who will talk about some fun stuff. Okay, although for me, taking ATVs off is extremely fun. I actually like that. Mr. Beef.
Thank you, Mayor. Quick update on the gun violence state of emergency. We continue to use the emergency closure order effectively. We've used it 5 times this year. Fortunately, we're also continuing to get cooperation from business and building owners. We've had 7 meetings with folks who, without need to use the emergency order, they've gotten their act together and gotten their business doing the right thing so that we don't have violence spilling onto the streets. But on to ATVs. As the mayor alluded, the law department has taken an active role this year in combating illegal ATVs, trying to cut them off before they ever make it to our streets. Yesterday, we filed an injunctive action in state Supreme Court against a business on Hudson Avenue that's illegally selling illegal dirt bikes and ATVs. And I use illegally twice there purposefully. They don't have the licenses to sell them in the first place, so the sale is illegal. And once they sell them and they're used on city streets, the use is illegal. So 2 illegal acts that we're combating with that action, and we're going to continue to partner with the RPD to make sure this stops. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Chief. Now I want to have Dr. Shirley Green. A lot of people may not know that kids have been out of school this week. I've had the opportunity. I've had 2 lunches this week already with kids in the mayor's conference room because they've been out of school this week. But our rec centers have extended its hours, obviously, because we wanted to make sure that kids stay busy, and they are staying busy. Had the opportunity to visit Biz Kids this week, and I'm just coming from lunch actually with some students that were in the mayor's conference room having lunch as they are enjoying school if they didn't go away. We wanted to make sure that they were able to do that. So with that, I want to have Dr. Green come and give some brief words on our preventative efforts, because if you keep folks busy, they stay out of trouble. They may not want to ride an illegal dirt bike or go and pick up an illegal firearm. So the prevention piece is extremely important. As you notice, with all of these updates, quarterly public safety updates, we make sure that we also talk about the prevention piece, because that's extremely important. Dr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, the Department of Recreation and Human Services is deeply committed to our role in reducing violence, providing interventions and prevention services for our community, with a special emphasis on children. As the mayor mentioned, this week was Boredom Busters. And every day this week, there were activities in all of our 10 recreation centers for our young people to engage in: mindful me, yoga and meditation, youth bike repair, so positive bike repair. Lifeguard certification classes were held this week. You all have heard often that we have a shortage in lifeguards. What a better way to do than have lifeguard certification? The mayor mentioned Biz Kids. There were a number of kids over at the 57 St. Paul learning about how to become business owners. And the information continues. We recognize that our young people deal with trauma, not only from violence, but for the silent trauma they face with daily situations. Mental health, social anxiety, bullying, and what they may encounter with family and friends. This is why the work we do is so important. Having access to address the social emotional needs of our young people is critical. This is done in several ways. As you've heard often, in each of our art centers, our young people have access to Center for Youth staff working along with our recreation staff. What a better way to enjoy fun, to have adults who are caring, trusted, maintaining relationships with our young people who can also address the trauma. We also recognize when a situation occurs, we must have firsthand supports immediately for our young people. This week, as you heard the mayor talk about the incident at the Ryan Center, we had our partners from Breathe Deep on site for support for our staff, for the young people, and for several agencies that we partner with in that community. We created this space so that our young people know that when challenges come, there are opportunities for you to be successful. This week, with all of the opportunities to work through challenges, some causing trauma, yet the young people know they are trusted adults that are committed to keeping them safe. This week, we also sent 26 young people who work in the Summer of Opportunity on a historically black college and university college tour. Another example of exposing our young people to opportunities that they might not have had the chance to experience outside of the Department of Recreation and Human Services. This is helping our young people see what dreams and possibilities exist for them. Not only are we able to provide these services and supports within recreation and youth services, we also have our crisis intervention unit where we have community counselors readily accessible to all of our residents. You can reach them at 428-6630, and our person in crisis team can be reached by calling 211-988 or 911. The Office of Violence Prevention, which includes Pathways to Peace, continue to work with our middle and high school students to support our young in conjunction with school staff. Residents can also refer young people to Pathways to Peace by calling 428-SAFE or 428-7233. The Pathways to Peace staff not only work in our schools, but they're a group of staff that are daily out in our community. They are in neighborhoods seeking opportunity to support the challenges that may be existing. I'm sure you've seen these folks out and about. They're at sporting events, city events. This winter, they were serving chili and hot cocoa on several corners, and in the summer, we continue with our Peace Barbecue. This work matters for our community, and Department of Recreation and Human Services is committed to this work. Strong communities are built on a foundation of shared values and mutual support. Our community continues to thrive with the commitment that each other's well-being is our priority. Turning it over back to the mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Thank you for your work. I mean, just the breadth and depth of all the things that we have going on. It's hard to keep track of it all, but you're doing a great job in keeping it all together, and I thank you for that. So, the former owners of the vehicles in this pile probably invested some money into this pastime that doesn't work on our streets, and because they did not use them according to the law, all of this will now be turned into scrap metal. And it doesn't have to be that way. The choice is simple. You can either make it street legal, or they will be scrapyard ready. The 50 that you see behind us are now scrapyard ready, because I represent the citizens of Rochester. And if they tell me they've had enough with something, I got to do something about it. And this is why this ATV stepped up detail is so very important. Because I don't want to see another kid die from falling off the back of a dirt bike. I don't want to see someone else get shot because they almost run over somebody's kid. I don't want to see another business disrupted or my police officers injured because of these illegal vehicles. Or I don't want to see an old lady almost get run over when she's crossing the street or because she's standing at the bus trying to make it to the doctor's appointment. So because of that, these will go to the scrapyard, and hopefully we will get good metal on it. There's a lot of tariffs going on right now, so at least we could use all the metal we can get. So before we crush those, I'll take any questions that you may have. And again, I just want to put in a word for the individual that hit that 12-year-old kid. Please turn yourself in. Just do it. Do the right thing. Turn yourself in. You know who you are. We know who you are. Turn yourself in. It makes it easier, so we don't have to go look for you. Turn yourself in. We have a kid that has a serious injury now because of that incident.